This is the Loving Life Podcast, coming from a parent's perspective where we take a look at the past, the present, and discuss what the future has in store for all of us. Welcome to the Loving Life Podcast.
Hey, welcome to the show, and welcome back, Sandra.
Thank you very much.
It's been a minute.
It's been 1 minute.
You made me do it all by myself last week.
You had Rick Springfield. Okay, come on now. He's a little bigger of a name than I am.
Yeah, but that was just like an interview thing, though. I did something separate on my own, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it was cool. Rick was fun. So I wanted to talk today about something that was pretty interesting. Something came across the wire. The 10 most common rules of the house. Parents to kids.
Okay.
Now, like, I didn't have a ton of rules when I was growing up, but I had a lot.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't overwhelming. It was mostly common sense stuff. So there's a couple of ways to look at this conversation. There's our stuff, which was different.
Yeah.
And then there's our kids' stuff.
Our parenting?
Our parenting. Are we bad parents?
No.
Are you sure?
I don't think we're bad parents.
Oh.
I don't think we're bad parents at all.
What kind of rules do we have?
Kids are still living.
No, they haven't started each other on fire yet?
No. Our houseplants died, but our kids have lived.
We have houseplants?
Yeah.
I thought they were just fake ones.
No.
Oh.
They're real.
Oh, wow.
They're real.
You're keeping... I know we have candles everywhere.
You have candles. I
and
have
sage.
to restock. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. All right. So these were the 10 most common rules of the house. Parents to their kids. The top 10. Let's see where we rank in here, because I really want to know where we are ranked in here. Number 10 is you can't go to bed angry.
You know, I think that's something, I don't know, you can go to bed angry. I can't. I cannot be upset with our children and go to bed. Like, I have to resolve whatever issue it is with the kids.
Why do you say I don't care?
Because you go to sleep right away.
That's because I'm tired.
Yeah, but I cannot go to sleep angry. I really can't.
But I'm
with the kids.
I'm not really angry with the kids, but you can with me.
Yeah, because you and I just resolve our stuff by not talking.
It is what it is. It's typical. But the kids, I mean, I never go to bed angry at the kids.
No.
Frustrated, maybe.
Yeah, but even if there's some issue of some sort, we always clear it before bed.
Okay. Well, I mean, I agree with that.
I think that's a good rule of thumb.
Okay. Number 9 was no yelling in the house. And I don't think we have any of those issues. Like, It's not a rule in our house because they don't do it.
Yeah. No, no one really yells.
I have an issue with the dogs and all their barking in the house.
Yeah.
Because they bark at everything.
Oh, they're dogs.
There's a rabbit outside, they're barking.
Well, they're dogs.
They hear something, they bark.
God.
It's crazy.
They're dogs.
All right.
Okay.
Number 8 was help carry the groceries in. Are you kidding me?
That's because we go shopping at the crack ass of dawn on Sunday morning.
We are back by 9
the kids
something
aren't
in the
be
morning.
Up by 9. They stay up late the night before, so they're not going to be up by 9. But here's the thing: when I was a kid and I heard my mom, I usually go to the grocery store with my mom. But as soon as I hear my parents open the garage door,
you were there to help.
I come down to help.
Yeah.
That's no matter what it was. I still came down to help.
Yeah. They don't do any of that.
No.
And they come back, and we come back, actually, and they come out and they just start eating the stuff that we buy.
If they're awake, though, if we go somewhere in the middle of the day or something, come back, they'll come out. Do you have anything else? Or if they're with us, they'll carry the bags in for us. So if they're with us, they carry the bags. Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
Number 7 was no phones at the table.
We're all culprits of
that. No,
so
I think we're all guilty.
Put that all on them.
I try to put it aside. In fact, what we've been doing recently, like if we, because our schedules are so sporadic, that eating at the table at the house, we used to do that quite often when the girls were in grade school.
Yeah.
But now that they're older, everybody's kind of spread out all over the place. But I will say that when we do go out to eat, like last night we went out to eat, we've tried something different where we actually, the only time the phone is there is like when we're talking about like trying to look up questions to ask each other.
Yeah. Dinner conversation
questions, things, like, do you feel satisfied in life? And then, just silly things like that. But
what is the one superpower you wish you had?
Right.
Yeah.
Sophia will do the Snapchat stuff and drive her sister crazy, but it kind of is what it is. I don't think, we're all guilty of it. But, and then which leads into number 6, which was having dinner together as a family. We try to do that as much as we can, but at the house, I would like to do it more at the house.
Yep.
And just have more of that family time there. I think we've been doing an okay job as trying to do things like on Saturdays and Sundays and having grandma over or friends over and doing dinner that way, which is pretty cool. Number 6 on the 10 most common rules of the house that parents have for their kids. Number 5 was clean the table after dinner.
Everyone pretty much picks up after themselves. They've started washing their own dishes.
I beg to differ.
No, they have started.
Okay.
They have with me. They know that you have a fit when you see dishes in the sink. So they've been actually.
It's not a fit.
Good.
I'm just disappointed. It's like what I come back and it's like I didn't use these dishes and now I got to clean them.
But now they're doing it on their own.
All right. Well, I guess I need to see more, and then I'll understand. Number 4 on the 10 most common rules of the house that parents have for the kids was always put things back where you found them. That was a big one with me when I was a kid. Okay. My dad could tell if I used a tool in his toolbox because either A, it wasn't there, or B, it was back in the wrong place. Yeah. And so I learned that from my dad. Like, I'll put things back where they were.
But you also have that attitude, too. Like, I can't take a pair of your nail clippers and put it back in a different spot.
Every time I go in my drawer, the lid is off of it. And I got to...
Not anymore. I lock that now. I put it in and I clip it so I know because that way I'm going to hear his mouth if I don't just put that little plastic clip.
No, hear my mouth.
Yeah, I know. It's like...
Whatever.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, you'll get it. But the kids, I wish they'd put their crap away. Like, I bought Sophia a couple of Funko Pops the other day, and those things sat on the kitchen table. I finally took them to her bedroom the other day.
Okay.
They sat there for almost a week.
Okay.
Like, put your stuff away.
Okay.
Like, she'll get on a roll and, like, I want to change my room up and all that kind of stuff. And then I'll walk in there and there's cereal bowls and there's garbage on the... It's like...
I know.
You have nothing to say.
I have nothing to say because I can't deny that. But she does. She'll do a clean sweep of her room, at a random time. And, I know.
All right.
I don't really have much to say on that. We want them to keep their room clean.
Was this a rule in your house that you, before you can go play, you got to do your homework?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a rule in my house.
Our kids don't go to play when they were young. I mean, they did their homework and they stayed. They didn't go anywhere or do anything.
I will say that. I mean, I grew up in my neighborhood. I grew up with all my friends around, so I was always over out doing things with them. So, but their friends lived far away.
Well, now it's like you can't do if you haven't done your homework, you can't get on YouTube
or your computer. No more social media
but then
or whatever.
Your computer is part of your homework assignments now, and
it's a different day and age.
It is. So they don't leave the house to go out and ride their bike or go hang out with friends. Everyone's at home.
Right. But I will say that what Mia made the dean's list, is that what it was? So Mia made our oldest, who's a sophomore at ASU.
Junior now.
Well, she will be a junior. Yeah. She got on the dean's list. And then our youngest, sophomore, who will be a junior, got straight A's. So I can't argue with that. They're doing their thing. So, and that's the cool thing. It's like everything's on autopilot. So they are doing homework and they are getting it done. Yeah. And because the proof's in the grades.
Very good students.
Yeah. So I give them props for that. Number 2 on the list of the 10 most common rules of the house was always be kind.
Yes. I think we have that covered.
I think we
have kids who are very kind and very compassionate, and they are just good kids.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. Yeah.
Why are you I'm just thinking.
I'm just thinking about them. I mean, I was asked, because Father's Day is coming up, and I was asked this question today at the radio station that says, "What's your favorite thing about being a dad?"
Yeah.
And outside of the comical line of, well, I have built-in, home workers.
What?
I know, right? I've built-in labor, which doesn't exist after this conversation. But was to actually watch my kids grow up and to know that if I at least did it half as good as my parents, that I'm seeing that in my kids. So to live through my kids is pretty cool. So that was number 2 in the 10 most common rules of the house. Number 1, always say please and thank you.
They're very good at that.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Not
please,
sir.
Thank you.
No, ma'am. No, sir. In our household,
right?
I mean, it's yes and thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can still be respectful without saying ma'am or sir. Now, when someone calls me ma'am, I feel old. But I think too that's I don't know, depending on what part of the country you're from. I mean, there are people who are still very formal like that.
Sure.
And I think it's great. I don't expect that from my kids, but I do expect them to be respectful of others. I do expect them to say please and thank you.
Right.
For anything and everything.
Well, wasn't Sophia just like she was telling the story at dinner last night that she was over at a friend's house.
Right.
And they were talking about grades.
Oh, yep.
And her friend's grandmother was there, and her grandmother
asked her,
was trying to give her $20 for her grade.
Yep.
And Sophia was like, "No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'm okay.
Thank you, but that's fine."
And then she goes and she turns around and tells her friend, "My parents don't even pay me for grades." She goes, "I asked my mom, what do I get for getting straight A's?" And she said, "My love."
Yeah, you get my love.
And I told her that. But she knows I was joking. But she makes everything such a big deal. She said, "Mom, remember that time I got an 89% on that quiz and you saged the house?" I was like, "You're a big fat liar." She goes, "No, I even have it." She has a video of me saging the house because she had an 89% on her quiz. I never did that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Mia said she remembered it.
I might have saged the house because of drama that maybe they were telling me before she told me about the 89%. But seriously, Sophia, I never did that.
That's funny. All right. Well, there you go. The 10 most common rules of the house. Any rules that I'm missing that you grew up with?
No, but there's like
outside of curfew.
No, but you know what? It's like if you come from a Mexican family like I do, or Filipino family like I do, it's like these really superstitious things. Like you can't go outside with your feet wet or your hair wet,
what?
Or you're going to get the flu. Or and there's like all these little like things that you listen to, and you know. I don't think I can really think of anything that my parents were really, really strict about. My dad was big about me. If a boy came to visit me at my house, came to the house, don't stand in front of the house and talk to the guy. If he wants to talk to you, he can come inside and sit in our front room and talk to you.
Right.
You don't need to stand in front of the house talking to a boy. I'm like...
That's so he can hear the conversation.
Oh, gosh. Really?
Duh.
Yeah.
Can't hear anything if you're standing outside.
That kind of stuff. It was just like, oh, okay, Dad. And I know he's probably going to watch this podcast. So another thing that I remember. Yeah,
there you go. Well, when I was growing up, like I said, I grew up in the subdivision out in the sticks. And when my dad would whistle, that's when it was time to come home. So I'd be at a friend's house playing flag football or whatever it was. And I'd hear this big whistle, and it was like, oh, time to come home, time for dinner.
Curfew. Yeah, I had a curfew.
Well, that wasn't curfew. That was just time to come home and eat.
Oh, well, no. See, I was always back home for that. But when I was a teenager, my curfew, even in college, because I lived in the house, was midnight.
Yep.
And my dad would wait on those stairs.
House rules.
With an alarm clock, with a clock, and show it to me as soon as I walked through the door. You know what time it is? I go, 12, maybe midnight. He's like, 12:07. I'm like... He's military, so of course.
Yep.
You know?
Hey, man.
I know.
House rules.
I know. And I respected them for the most part.
Well, there you go. Well, that's going to wrap up the podcast for today. Hopefully you have rules like that in your home, or maybe you followed them as well. Remember, the podcast comes out every week today. We also film the podcast. We're going to post that on YouTube and other social media platforms as soon as we get it all produced up. Subscribe, click notifications, rate the podcast in iTunes and on the radio.com app. And of course, you can follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter. It's at CharlieOnAir1. And most importantly, thanks for your ears. Sandra, any last parting words?
No.
All right, there you go. Until next week. Love you guys. It's the Loving Life Podcast.